Essentially our final game of the night. We're in game 7 here, and let's jump right into it.
Alright, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for game number 7. To all the 10,000 plus viewers we have watching in right now, thanks so much for tuning in. It's time for the 7th game between coLMVP and SlayerS at the top. And at the left, we do have SlayerS MMA. He's finally been thrown into Team Arena Challenge. We'll see what he's made of here. Try to clone an SCV right there on that nearby mineral patch. Kind of failed at that. But small things, as over on the right side, we do have Keen representing coLMVP. He's so far 4-0'd SlayerS. And if he gets his 5th kill, he will win for coLMVP.
Yeah, he certainly will, and that's going to be very, very monumental for them and for Keen. I mean, what an outstanding run he's had thus far. 4 games in a row, and an all-kill versus SlayerS. I mean, that is a serious accolade to throw up on your wall of achievements.
Now, guys, let's not belittle MMA at all. In fact, let's talk up a little bit about him because he is our 2011 coDS GSL champion in October, and he's also the Blizzard Cup champion as well. He's gotten 2 gold place medals so far and a silver in the 3D GSL tournament, so just doing an outstanding job thus far. Now, he is facing off against Keen. Now, MMA's win rate is 61% in Terran versus Terran, whereas Keen's win rate in Terran versus Terran a little bit lower at a 37% win rate. So I think Keen's work is definitely cut out for him when playing a player of MMA's caliber.
Yeah, absolutely. MMA is a TVT specialist. I mean, he is, I believe, he's like, what is it, 9-1 against MMA or against MVP in their recent games that they've played. But keep in mind, this is like after MMA really started getting super good. I think that MVP had the better of him before that, but in recent times and in major tournaments, he's 9-1 over MVP, who is heralded by most to be the best Terran player in the world. So MMA kind of challenging him for that spot right now. Both players are kind of vying for power over who the best Terran player in Korea is right now. And I think, you know, given MMA's success versus MVP in particular, it seems that MMA might just have his number when it comes to these major tournaments.
It's funny you note that too, because for a time MVP was better than MMA. I remember going back into, I think it was MLG at Dallas, but I'm not entirely sure. MMA lost to MVP. This was either MLG at Anaheim or Dallas, I'm not too sure, but he did lose to MVP in a major set, and then kind of changed things around as of recently, as you mentioned before. So now MMA, totally a different caliber player. He's upgraded himself to the next level, but is it enough to take out this hot fire kid, Keen? I don't know, man. We'll have to see. It's a Terran versus Terran. The map is huge. It's time for Terminus, man. And talk to me a little bit about this map in Terran versus Terran.
I mean, in Terran versus Terran, it can play out just like any other map, but you have the option of things really going into a long, hardcore macro game, just because of the availability of the quick third and just how you can play a very defensive style on this map. Now, you've got to give the spawn advantages to MMA, just because he has such quick access to Keen's natural and his potential third. He also has much quicker drop access, and he really just needs to... Oh, is this SCV going to get in the front? It looks like it is. The depots go up after the fact, and he's going to get a full scout here on MMA's base. He knows about the Banshee opener, and that hurts for MMA.
And he doesn't see the second gas, too, so now he can rule out the potential cloak as well.
Yep.
And that's such a huge scout, man. That Banshee is now on the way. Keen is going to get up his own starport. This almost seems reminiscent of his game against Gonzi, where Gonzi went for the very fast starport, and it got scouted out there, too. So I think what Keen is going to do here is play out his exact game plan that he had against his opponent, Gonzi. No, he is not. In that game, he actually had reactored Hellions coming out, so he's switching it up to get Marines a little bit faster this time instead.
Yeah, so he's going to have enough Marines to hold this off. He's also got the command center coming, and you know, I've got to hand it to Keen. He's looking pretty solid here. We saw him use this build order against Gonzi as well, and it worked out so well for him.
Yeah.
It seems like he's really got this TVT build down to just counter the quick Banshee build that we've been seeing from all the SlayerS Terrans.
But there is a difference this time. MMA not making the mistake, if you will, of his prior teammate Gonzi, but he throws the command center in the main rather than throwing that down on the low ground. So he is not vulnerable to losing this command center, although that SCV could actually go down. He pulls it away at the last second. second. So he's going to have to get that SCV in a different angle to fix up that command center and finish it up.
And
Banshee comes back
again.
Wow, the Banshee coming back.
Yeah, this is the beauty of the build we see from Keen. He forces the Banshee to be used defensively to stop that Hellion harass at the front door, and that's the second time we've seen that happen. So now MMA, realizing this isn't going to work out, is forced to swap all of his add-ons here, and he's switching into Marine tank production.
Yeah, this is just totally negating the fact that you open up with the quicker Banshee with the faster gas. You're unable to do the damage you need to do, and you referred to this before, Pain User. Just a Banshee in of itself forces so much damage because it forces Comsat. If you have Cloak, it can pick off SCVs as well, but MMA has been unable to do any type of harass whatsoever with that Banshee thus far, only using it as a defensive unit. And let me tell you, man, the cost invested into getting a Banshee just for defense, you might as well just get Marines instead.
Yeah, very true, very true. And he doesn't have to invest that extra cost in the engineering bay and multiple turrets because he knows that the that the SlayerS Terrans haven't been getting Cloak. They've been foregoing Cloak and just rushing for that quick Banshee as soon as possible. Now we have Keen with a ton of Hellions out on the field. He has the potential for that Hellion drop that we saw him use against Ganzi. He's going to drop in the main, and then he's going to hit the natural at the same time, hopefully once he diverts MMA's forces. And here we go, the drop going into the main right now. He's going to send those Hellions around the back of the main, but they're prepared right into those Marines. MMA all over this.
Yeah, MMA saw the game with Ganzi. Don't forget, guys, these players are watching their teammates, so MMA knows exactly what Keen's playstyle is, and he is totally prepared for the Banshee or the Hellion drop inside the main. In fact, he's going to ward it away with a Viking as a Viking chases away an enemy Viking, and he kills off the Hellions at his natural. So MMA looking really good, unlike Ganzi here. He secured the natural, he has the same SCV count, and he deflected the drop inside the main, so things are looking really, really much better for MMA than his counterpart Ganzi.
Yeah, absolutely. But MMA is down on supply right now. We do have Keen adding more production facilities here, so he's going to start to pull away with this a little bit, and now we see him adding those concussive shell Marauders into the mix, which is something we saw him do in the game against Ganzi, which worked out very well for him. He also has a Banshee of his own in the main base of MMA, forcing all the SCVs to be pulled to the natural and getting some SCV kills of his own. It will force MMA to bring the Viking back to deal with this, and he does have Cloak.
Look at him.
Cloak that Banshee. There you go.
The Banshee as well. There is enough energy for a Comsat. It looks like he will drop the Comsat. No, he will not, as he's focusing all of his attention on an attack abroad. His tanks are sieging up right now. He's got a Banshee in the mix. MMA is in a big attacking position right now. The SCVs are coming off, and the SCVs get the surround on the tank. They will clean it up, but a ton of SCVs have gone down already. In fact, MMA has killed off 13, 15, 16 SCVs. He's almost tied off the SCV.
But the Banshee in the main and the Hellions.
Oh my god, this is a total SCVs trade right now.
Who is going to come out on top? Things look relatively even right now. How did he sneak those Hellions in there? Did he just run up the ramp?
I have no idea, man. He either ran up the ramp or he dropped him off.
I think he just ran up the ramp.
Yeah, we have a total lull in the action right now as a ton of SCVs hitting the ground. In fact, let's look at the SCV count right now. Pretty much even for both players, so they got a total trade-off. Their armies traded evenly, the SCVs traded evenly. Mules are now starting to pick up the pace for their fallen brothers, but certainly Keen looks like he is on MMA's standard in terms of Terran versus Terran, man.
Yeah, very, very, very true. And I love the fact that he got Cloak delayed after the fact, and now he's actually sending in his Vikings, picks off the initial Viking for Keen. He's going to get that medevac as well. MMA just eking out small advantages here, and he's taken full air control right now, so he has air dominance in this game. If he really wants to focus on that and start producing Vikings, he can hold on to that for the rest of the game now that he has that small advantage. It makes such a big difference in TVT, but he doesn't have a reactor on that starport right now. He's just working off of a naked starport, and the Banshee for Keen comes into the natural with Cloak as well, so he's going to have to burn some additional scans here. He's going to lose a lot of SCVs. Just sacrificing those Marines right now so he doesn't take too much damage in the form of economy.
7 SCVs killed so far. Comsat goes down. Viking gets the last shot off. It will kill off that Banshee. So Keen gets a little bit more damage done with his Banshee. Killing off several more SCVs. The SCV kill count now 23 in favor of Keen, over 16 for MMA, but the Harvester count is pretty much identical. Just MMA trailing behind by only a few. And now it looks like MMA is going to go around the long road to get a medevac in there with 8 Marines. This could be pretty effective, but it's going to take a long time to get there. Meanwhile, he's got to deal with the drop of his own. As he's got Vikings on that medevac, he will deal with that medevac pretty easily. Lands his Vikings as well.
So many SCVs going down. Beautiful drop play here
34,
from Keen.
35. It continues to skyrocket. Keen is keeping these Hellions alive for a really long time.
Yeah, he certainly is.
He's
Killing a ton of SCVs. So much damage done right there with that drop. And this is what we were talking about. This is what I was talking about earlier with the spawn advantage for Keen. He just has, well, actually, no, the spawn advantage was for MMA. Keen's actually using it against him and just continually dropping in the main, which is something you don't usually see because MMA could just patrol a few Vikings over no man's land outside of his main and deny these drops from Keen, but he's choosing not to do so. And now he's actually going for the drop in the main, which should work out, but he doesn't have
Can he
stim.
get the combat shield upgrade? It looks like the SCV is going on auto repair, and he will be able to keep the tech lab alive. So the attack here with the Medevac's not doing that much damage unless he can get some more SCV kills. Maybe getting a few right here, but pretty much the Medevac harass getting, thwarted. And the Medevac has to go back home. And now it looks like Keen on the offensive, who has more units on the ground, gonna break through the third rocks, but there's no expansion there. There is an expansion there, so if Keen wanted to, he can run down that ramp, he can take down that command center pretty easily. 44 SCVs in favor of Keen right now. I think Keen's looking good in this game, man. He's pulling ahead.
Yeah, he is. And he's going to be able to deny this third, that's for sure. Although he might get his units trapped here. Needs to be careful. Does not want to get trapped by those siege tanks from MMA, and he is going to engage that small bioforce, but he pulls out at the same time. He will get that depot, and he will deny the SCV building this third. So just a small victory there for Keen, I believe. He did lose a few units to that siege tank, but
every victory counts, man.
He's certainly pulling away with the supply lead right now as well, 118 to 98. So Keen has done a much more fluid job macroing out of this heavy harass early game and mid game, and now he's just producing a ton of units. Look at his infrastructure right now. Keen has a ton of buildings just pumping bio off of everything that he has.
Yeah, I mean, MMA is not looking as sharp as you usually
Oh dear God!
Those tank shots did kill off quite a few Marines, but you would expect
dropping the main
to be a little bit more sharper right now. But oh my God! Look at Keen dropping everything off inside the Terran main. This is a huge drop, and there's nothing here to protect the Terran main. And it looks like he is going to lose control not only over his third but also his main. He's got to bring his forces back in at home. Is it going to be in time though? He's losing huge add-ons here. Tech labs and reactor cores all going down.
And so many SCVs going down as well. What a well-timed drop right there.
Actually kept his SCVs alive.
From Keen.
He actually kept most of his SCVs alive right there. He ran him over to the left geyser. But he did lose a third while Keen is securing his third. And that's huge right there.
And Keen's still up by 40 supply right now, just pumping off of so many Raxes, and he's just going to drop again. He has so many medevacs right now. He's going to go for that mega drop again on the production facilities of MMA. MMA can't get that third up and running to save his life, and that's really what he needs right now. Here comes drop wave number 2. The tank is going to siege up immediately, and he is just crushing the production of MMA. Like you said, taking out all those add-ons, might get the factory and the racks, potentially the starport here as well, and that is just going to be a devastating blow that I don't think MMA can recover from. Keen is on fire right now.
Yeah, he just killed off almost half the production of MMA, and MMA now is going to be really hard-pressed to get back in this game. He's losing all control of his main. Keen is also pushing into the center of the map as well. The main command center is up in the air and not mining right now. Keen is killing off supply depots. He's pushing over to the third as well. MMA's only got one place to mine from, but he's got nowhere to produce out of. I think Keen is about to take this game, man.
Yeah, Keen just using the mobility.
He's going to get the all-kill.
Just using the mobility of mass racks, mass medevacs so well. MMA just with no response to this. He had his units pulled out of position by Keen, and really, Keen orchestrated all of this. It's not like he just lucked out there. He orchestrated all of these drops. He knew where MMA's army was the entire time, and he used small groups of bio to pull it out of position. And now if you look at the minimap, Keen just has MMA trapped up in this last-ditch effort to hold on to his base, and he's lost pretty much everything.
Look at the stream of reinforcements coming from Keen here, man. It's a wave of Marines coming to reinforce the position, and now it looks like, Keen is just gonna set up the embargo around MMA from all angles.
Yeah, there's really nothing MMA can do at this point. Keen just wading his way through tank fire into the natural. GG is called. There it is. Keen has the all kill. MMA has gone down. And oh my God, Keen looking spectacular right now.
是上将。